I'm James Sinclair, and I'm here with
Tracy Martin Jr. What's up, baby?
What's good, bro? Tracy, what'd you do?
Mentor. I'm a coach. Train athletes.
What type of coach?
I coach football.
For how long you been playing football?
You want to say probably 9 years old?
She was 9. Yeah. How did you start to play football?
It was one of those things. I feel like anybody else, at that age during the '90s, you needed an outlet. So for me, it was, soccer, baseball, basketball. But for me, I needed a little bit more. So it was either boxing or football, and parents would rather you play football.
Mm-hmm.
So 9 years old, I started playing football, Silver Spring Saints.
For the Silver Spring Saints?
Yeah.
Did you start off on like a team, or did you just play like a round the way type of football?
Oh, man, I started playing football around the way, young age. I think that's, where everybody starts for the most part, right?
Yeah.
So, definitely started in the neighborhood. And one of my best friends played for the Saints and, asked me if I wanted to try out or, be a part of the program. And of course, first year, something I want to do.
Mm-hmm. And you say you also mentor,
Yeah.
coach.
Yeah.
How did that start?
I played college ball, so there's always a feeling of, at least for me, giving back the knowledge that I had, or at least being able to teach young men, my mistakes or the things that I went through to kind of help them, avoid it and even do better. So once I graduated and, really had an idea that I wanted to coach, start my own business as far as training and, mentoring and things like that. The first thing I did was, reach back out till I went to high school, looking for opportunities just to help out. And once 2015 hit, that's when I got started rolling.
How important, if anything, was your you playing in the neighborhood? Was that any type of foundation for your football career?
Yeah, absolutely. The neighborhood I was in, it kind of allowed us to explore and really find out exactly who or what we wanted to be. And of course, you go out with friends who chooses different lanes. But for me, my thing was always, playing football.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the neighborhood that I was in definitely created an environment where, we would play for hours. Hours, go swim, dry off, go play for, the rest of the evening till the sun went down. So, it was very competitive, but it was also a place where I think I found myself as far as, a person, a player.
Yeah. So that competitive nature that started in the neighborhood as a kid, did you use any of that in high school and collegiate football?
Oh yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, when you grow up with your boys, there's no hold bars as far as, what they say or what they'll do to you to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
To let it be known that,
Talking shit.
Yeah, that they, there's something to be reckoned with too. And, ironically, a lot of the kids that play ball out there on that field, man, ended up playing high school ball and, going on to play, basketball and other sports and things of that nature. But it was always competitive. And, we were a neighborhood that had a lot of pride in, football. Because, when most of the kids our age, play football or things of that. But we used to play other neighborhoods.
Yeah.
We would play, other neighborhoods where they would bike to us because, we had the biggest field.
Yeah.
And we were kind of close to, every other neighborhood, that was around us. So, we would get kids, riding their bikes down. We would get people pull up in cars and, everything they could. Just to come play us and have that experience, man. And, we did that. I would say we played other neighborhoods, competed with each other from probably 2006 till 2018.
You also do training.
Yeah.
And you have a training company in terms of training athletes.
Yeah.
What's the name of it?
Martin Value Performance.
Okay.
MVP. Yeah. MVP. I started it back in maybe 2018. Just realizing that there was a need for mentorship and a need for, guidance on, achieving your goals when the odds are difficult. So I created the program to get kids off the street, teach them about, academics, SATs, college, NCAA, but also, build the mind.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of conversations about, what it is to be a man, or especially what it is to be an African American man who wants to be successful. So a lot of the conversations on building the mental aspect were along those lines of what does it take to survive, for one, have a plan, 2, and 3, live it and execute. And once, we built that, lifting weights, running, competing, came afterwards.
So it wasn't just about getting in the weight room, trying to bench the most, trying to squat the most. I mean, that's going to come, but you had to focus on the mental first.
Yeah.
In order to build them.
Yeah.
And with that philosophy, from what I understand, I think you coached a Paint Branch High School team to a flawless season. Mm-hmm. And it was like the first time in like 20 years or something like that.
First undefeated season since the 90s or something.
Since the 90s. Yeah.
So they say.
Yeah.
But,
so do you want to, what was that like for you? Just to have that experience and work with the kids on the team and coach and like from your perspective.
I mean, it was a tough year. It was the first year I took on, a head coaching role. While, really, as much as the responsibility it was, I really embraced it. It was exciting to be in control of a program for the first time. And, as much as you become anxious about what's going to happen and stuff like that, I think for me, confidence kind of always took over. There was, no real doubt in my mind if I could get the job done. I know I could. And I know I'd be successful. The only worry I had was, the kids, their responses, would they buy in? If they, wanted to be as good as I wanted them to be. And, ironically, it worked out to be very, very, magical.
Right. So, like, each one teach one. Mm-hmm. I'm saying you obviously, you spent some time not only, developing your own skills as a football player, but now you're focusing on developing I'm saying, countless amount of kids' skills, both mentally and physically. I'm saying, what can somebody expect playing for you? I'm saying, maybe they're in 8th grade, middle school. They want to come to Paint Branch or play football.
Yeah.
I'm saying, what could they expect? I'm saying, playing for Coach Martin.
I think that you will expect what I expect from you, which is ultimate confidence, belief, and power in who you are. And, a lot of that is broken down in the summer heat. A lot of that is, I would tell them is weakness leaving their bodies because, everybody isn't built to play this sport. Everybody isn't capable. And I think the fact that, if you have the opportunity to, that you should take it on full speed. Because in my opinion, I think football, in my opinion, is, one of the greatest sports in the world. Because it keeps you accountable, keeps you responsible, and it makes you a team player. So, any kid, athlete that, plays for me, I demand greatness out of all of my players. I demand, their best effort. Only because, for me personally, when you start to tap into that belief, or you start to tap into, that confidence, like I said, you tap into that power you have of who you are, it creates a different person, and it creates somebody who is truly in belief of who they are, in love with who they are. So, when you play for me, we expose the flaws, the good, the bad, the good, the sad, and I allow my players to be human.
Right.
And, the people they are when they first start with me are light years away from who they are when they finish.
What do you mean by that statement? You allow them to be human? Because I feel like that was a powerful statement. But if you want to, elaborate on that.
I think that society where we are today, there's a lot of pressure on people to be the next Odell, the next DJ Metcalf, the next superstar, the next Floyd, the next anybody.
Yeah.
That you kind of forget that these men or women know who they are, and they know how to go through experiences to figure that out. And a lot of those experiences are failures. A lot of those experiences are trials.
Right.
So, allowing my young men I coach to be human, that means make mistakes full speed. Be human. Have emotions. Be upset, be sad about things that impact you. But I think as a man or a person who believes or wants more for themselves, you have to accept that things happen, shit happens. But are your circumstances or what you see or what you're going through now, is that who you are? So allowing them to be human is, make mistakes. Have a bad day. But when it comes down to your responsibilities or the things you commit to, you have to be a grown-ass man, you know? So being human means making mistakes, have your bad days, have your sorrows, but also embrace the other side of the perspective.
Right. Fully.
Fully.
How was that stepping in? Was it an easy transition stepping into like the coaching role? Did, when you were a student of the game, and I'm sure you still are, but when you were a player, did you always think to yourself like, one day I'm a coach?
Hell yeah.
And do you talk about that to your students, like or you have them focus on it now and not really think about that in terms of like, yeah, one day I would like to coach as well or mentor.
Oh, I mean, absolutely. You know, when I was playing ball, you know, I always knew that at the end of the day, I would be in my head coach's shoes.
Right.
You know?
That's how you thought back then.
Always.
Yeah.
You know, if it was high school, college, you know, I always thought I'd be in his shoes one day. So let me take the good, let me take the bad, and, you know, put it in my pot and things like that. So, you know, becoming a coach, it was exactly what I knew I was supposed to be doing.
Right.
You know. So it's been exciting to see, you know, like I said, that confidence come out.
Right.
Or, you know, that purpose, you know, truly be something I walk in. So it was never a doubt in my mind if I would coach, mentor, or help young men and women in my life, no doubt.
In terms of like the confidence and the coaching, you know, the things you teach as a mentor, are there leadership qualities that people learn from the game of football that they could take even if they choose not to play after high school or after college, that they can use in just their everyday life?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I think leading is, you know, I think leading and doing things that are abnormal or truly what you believe in is necessary. And, you know, it's easy to follow. It's not hard to follow. I follow. But leading is so much more powerful. Because when you start to change lives, help people, do the right things, and they start to believe in you, that's a big thing.
Right.
So I believe that, you know, the way I coach, the way I talk to my kids, the way I encourage them to be leaders, I've seen young men totally change the way they talk, the way they walk, the way they feel about themselves, and even fall into their own lanes because of my leadership. To do and be what the hell you want to be. In whatever lane that falls in, or who follows or who doesn't, stay in your lane because it makes you happy. And I try to teach that, preach that, you know, life is about being happy, embracing who you are, finding your purpose, and being happy about what you do every damn day. It's hard to do that.
How important is it to have more men step into the roles of leadership in our communities and mentorships and coaching and you know, and being guidance for men and women?
I mean, shit, it's powerful. I mean, you know, you can have a classroom full of brown or black, you know, men or women, and ask them, how many of you have, you know, seen your father, been raised by your father or know who your father is. And, you know, I struggle with that. There's a lot of, you know, my friends and, you know, family members did. And when you see the hands raised for how many men or women do not know, have, or seen or interacted with their father, the hands raised in the room just lets you know how powerful it is for a man to be there, you know? And if you see society or you see how hurt, you know, a lot of people are, it's usually because that man isn't there. And, you know, of our culture and, you know, skin color, you know, it was purposeful.
Right.
Because, you know, the moment you give the most powerful human being, in my opinion, exactly what they need, which is leadership, guidance, know-how, show you completely take away, I would say, you know, the opportunities. Take away a lot of the mindset. You take away a lot of the
foundation, the core. So, speaking in terms of like foundation, the core, direction.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do to stay in your element in terms of staying in that leadership position, coaching, mentoring, strategizing? You know what I'm saying, being a therapist almost in a sense. You know what I'm saying, because you got to deal with so many different people. What do you do to stay in your element?
Stay peaceful. I think one thing I've learned to really master is staying in the moment. You know, really being here right now. I'm not thinking about what I'm doing after. I'm not thinking about what I'm going to eat. You know, I'm totally in this chair, hearing, seeing you. I'm involved, present. So, usually, you know, life is easier when I'm just in that moment, but when it comes to staying even, I talk to my people, I talk to my tribe. I make sure that I keep my peace mentally, spiritually, physically.
Is there anything else that you would like to say? I'm saying, for anybody watching, for me, or anything you would like to stamp, say, whatever. I'm saying.
Yeah, man. Thank you for this opportunity, man. It's been awesome being able to see, you know, ourselves grow.
Yeah.
And become, you know, 10 toes down, strong men who know what they want to do. So I appreciate you, and I thank you.
It's all right.
For, you know, everything that you do. For everybody listening, watching, paying attention, I think the biggest thing, you know, to practice is self-love. Self-love, appreciation for who you are, where you at, and the things you want to accomplish. Pray. Embrace whatever you need to do to have what you need, and have faith. Everything will work out.
All right.
Strong.
Coach Mar, well, thank you for bringing us to your element.
Thank you, man.
I'm saying.
Thank you.
Here we go, Charger these rights.
That is such a
Here we go.
that is
Hey, score on me, score on 3. 1, 2, 3, score! We're good. We're right now. We're good. Hey, 21 personnel. We're good. Hey.
No, sir.
Please calm the hell down and have fun.
Yes, sir.
Just calm the hell down and have fun. So why are we acting like we can't take this thing home? Stop playing with your food.
Yes, sir.
Everything is there. Take it. Stop on people's necks.
Yes, sir.